Now, let me just preface this with I do believe that there are some good oncologists on the allopathic side. They want what's their goal's the same. They want people to get well, but it's the racket of the industry that surrounds it, right?
Yeah.
So the word cancer, when you get that diagnosis, comes with an automatic death sentence and an automatic idea in your head that it's going to be a torturous endeavor. When you had your diagnosis of MS, I'm sure you were like, holy man, what this means, but you probably didn't think I'm going to die. You probably didn't think like, oh, I'm going to be super sick and vomiting and all of that stuff, like with my treatment protocol. But when you get the cancer diagnosis, that's what they think. And so
Sure.
that in itself creates its own level of PTSD and trauma. And then you go through treatment in the conventional. And their idea, and I always say this about allopathic. They think you have too many organs and not enough pharmaceuticals. They want to cut things out. They want to give you pharmaceuticals in the form of chemo. Basically, there's targeted chemo, which is a little bit better, but there's this broad spectrum chemo that just kills everything. And it's very much a kill mentality. And it was, when they declared the war on cancer, I think in the 60s, that's where this whole term came from. But what we have to remember with cancer is that they are our cells. They're sick and mutated and unable to produce the right amount of ATP and mitochondrial function so that they can divide and be healthy cells. So these are our cells. Why would we declare war on ourselves? And so the kill mentality is very much in the cancer culture. And so they tell these people like you have to have chemo and then you have to have this removed. And then once it's removed, we got to do chemo and radiation just in case we missed anything because they
Right.
know that God's design for the body is amazing. So when you have a tumor, Josh, it actually signals the rest of the body that there's cancer around and that your body needs to put up a defense against these cells. So that's
Hmm.
pretty amazing. But once you remove the tumor, the signal goes away.
Yeah.
They know that in the oncological section, so they give you chemo just to capture any other cells. So, my point being, we have come so far past that unholy trinity. The allopathic oncology has to catch up. I mean,
Mm.
immune therapy is on the rise, nutrition therapy, IV therapy, hyperbaric chamber, all of the DNA splicing of the T cells to target specific cells in the body is on the rise. Why are they not doing that on the other side? I mean, what they do at the Williams Cancer Institute is amazing. Amazing scientifically researched and backed therapies that you will not see in the allopathic because it's like they are 20 years behind where this functional and integrative is going. The problem is the money, right? There's no money in healthy people. There's no money if your cancer gets better and we can't keep you scared and keep you on chemo and keep you on radiation and tell you in 5 years it's going to come back. So you have to continue your mammogram and you have to continue this colonoscopy and you have to continue these PET scans over and over. And why are all these tests just loaded with radiation? Why are they loaded with things that we know could cause more cancer? So you
Right.
have to put your thinking tank, right? You have to get in there and really sit back. And the biggest thing that I tell people in the cancer culture is stop, slow down. God is not in a hurry. When he formed you
Mhm.
in the womb, he knew this. This was coming. Okay, so if he knows and he goes before you and beside you and behind you, then he's not surprised by this diagnosis. Neither should we be. And so we need to stop and pray, seek ye first, and all these things will be given to you. Let's seek the knowledge of God first. And then we can make some decisions, whatever those decisions are, but make an informed decision. Find out what's available in the integrative and in oncology. Find out what these people are saying about repurposed meds. Find out about supplementation that can help with your mitochondrial fueling, that can help with your stem cell regeneration. Find out. The problem is we're supposed to give people informed consent. First, do no harm is the oath that all these doctors take. That comes second to informed consent. And when they're informing these people, they're not telling them that the survival rates are based on only a certain section of people, only for a short period of time. It's like studies on vaccine safety. Those things, they don't tell you that the Hib was only studied for 5 days, but that was their safety test. So these are things that people don't know. And so when it comes to cancer culture, they're at a disadvantage because they are not informed. And when they're not informed, you will make decisions out of fear. If I yell, run, there's an intruder in your house. How do you know where to run? What if you run
Yeah.
into him? Right?
Yeah.
So you got to flick the light on. Even if you know there's a scary monster, at least you know where he is and you can run the opposite direction or in a different direction. So when it comes to this diagnosis, they know that the world's at a disadvantage because they have bestowed this word as the worst possible diagnosis that you can get. And I can honestly tell you, I know people that have had metastatic cancer that live a healthy and natural lifestyle that are still alive decades later. You do not have to die from this. You do not. So that's a
Yeah.
big thing that people need to hear today.